everything. He's never been uncomfortable. He's always had it his way. He's always had it his way. His whole life. I'm gonna make him
whole
uncomfortable.
life. He know me.
Your whole professional career, I should say. Your whole professional career, he's had his own way. He's never been uncomfortable. He's never had to make an adjustment because all these guys were tailor-made for him to look good.
Because I do what I want. I do what I want when I'm in there. And you're gonna see. You're gonna see.
Come fight
on
night.
June
Come
27th.
fight night. He's
I'm gonna do what I want.
uncomfortable.
Now look, them belts coming home with me, guaranteed.
And that's a tough fight, you know, especially for Xander at this point in his career. But it shows his heart and his confidence, you know, that he have in himself, and he's ready to go make history for his country. And he's gonna do real well in that fight. You know, I just think, you know, right now, you know, it's a little bit too early for him.
Fighting for 2-time world champion already. What if he go for the third one and he gets beat? Then he misses a big money fight with Boots instead of going on and taking this fight. You understand me? So it's like so many times we get cheated out of fights because guys try to wait till the fight simmers or gets to where it needs to be. Then they'll wait till they think one guy's ready. No, if you're a 2-time world champion across the board already, you're ready. If you're not ready, you shouldn't have got them. You shouldn't have got them 2 titles if you weren't ready. So if you got 2 titles, I don't want to hear that you're not ready. You better be ready because you're 2-time world champion. You got 2 of the belts in the weight class. Everybody in the weight class want that. So your behind better be ready. Boots is looking for the opportunity to shine his light. And Xander is a guy, like you say, that you can't let hit you repeatedly with the same shot or you won't be around long. So Boots gonna get on his game. I'm sure he's gonna tighten up and get on his A game because he know he has an A opponent. So I think the fight is perfect. I think it's the perfect time for the fight because the winner of this fight is gonna be something special.
He's a beast. He's fast, he's elusive, he's strong, he can change up his combinations, his footwork is impeccable. But then you have Zayas, who's a big guy, who throws a lot of punches, who's young, who's strong, but he's motivated, he's hungry. I think it's gonna be a great fight.
Fight going the distance. What you think?
It's possible. It's possible. I think if Xander come into the fight with a defensive mind state, then it do go to distance. But if he come to go to war, then yeah, somebody gotta go.
The boxing world is split right down the middle, and now the pros are stepping in with their final verdicts on who will emerge victorious in Brooklyn, as the former heavyweight boxer Roy Jones Jr. weighs in and makes it clear that calling this fight too early doesn't make sense when Xander Zayas is already a 2-time world champion. At that level, there are no excuses. Holding belts means you're ready for anyone, and avoiding big fights only risks losing massive opportunities like a showdown with Boots. He's basically saying champions can't afford hesitation because delays can kill legacy-defining moments. For Zayas, every fight is now a high-stakes test where one mistake could change everything.
Fighting for 2-time world champion already. What if he go for the third one and he gets beat? Then he misses a big money fight with Boots instead of going on and taking this fight. You understand me? So it's like so many times we get cheated out of fights because guys try to wait till the fight simmers or gets to where it needs to be. Then they'll wait till they think one guy's ready. No, if you're a 2-time world champion across the board already, you're ready. If you're not ready, you shouldn't have got them. You shouldn't have got them 2 titles if you weren't ready. So if you got 2 titles, I don't want to hear that you're not ready. You better be ready because you're 2-time world champion. You got 2 of the belts in the weight class. Everybody in the weight class want that. So your behind better be ready. Boots is looking for the opportunity to shine his light. And Xander is a guy, like you say, that you can't let hit you repeatedly with the same shot or you won't be around long. So Boots gonna get on his game. I'm sure he's gonna tighten up and get on his A game because he know he has an A opponent. So I think the fight is perfect. I think it's the perfect time for the fight because the winner of this fight is gonna be something special.
However, undisputed champion Terence Crawford believes that Xander Zayas is taking a very difficult challenge by stepping in against Xander Ennis at this stage of his career. However, he sees the decision as proof of Zayas' confidence, courage, and belief in his own abilities. Crawford praised Zayas' ambition to make history for his country and expressed confidence that he will perform well when the opportunity arrives. Despite that respect, Crawford feels that the fight may be coming a little too soon for Zayas, suggesting that Ennis' experience and overall development could make this a difficult test at the current point in Zayas' career.
And that's a tough fight, you know, especially for Xander at this point in his career, but it shows his heart and his confidence, you know, that he have in himself, and he's ready to go make history for his country. and he's gonna do real well in that fight. You know, I just think, you know, right now, you know, it's a little bit too early for him.
Oscar De La Hoya believes that the matchup between Jaron Ennis and Xander Zayas is a clash of two elite talents and has all the ingredients to become a special fight. He described Ennis as a complete fighter with exceptional speed, power, defense, and footwork, while praising Zayas as a young, hungry, and physically strong boxer who thrives on throwing combinations and applying pressure. According to De La Hoya, the fight becomes even more exciting if Ennis chooses to move forward aggressively behind his Philly shell defense rather than simply boxing from the outside. He feels that Zayas welcomes exchanges, is willing to take shots to land his own combinations, and that this dynamic could turn the contest into a memorable and potentially classic battle.
I think it's a clash of the titans if you really think about it. Look, Boots is a tremendous fighter. He's a beast. He's fast, he's elusive, he's strong, he can change up his combinations, his footwork is impeccable. But then you have Zayas, who's a big guy, who throws a lot of punches, who's young, who's strong, but he's motivated, he's hungry. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a classic fight. I sure hope that Boots uses that Philly shell, but it walks him down. I don't want him to move around, and it's going to make it very difficult for Zayas, and we might see one of those fights where it's like, oh, it's a 12-0 shutout. No, if we see the Philly style moving forward, and where Boots wants to maybe knock him out, then we will see a great fight, because Zayas loves that interaction. Zayas loves to throw combinations. He'll get hit a couple of times to hit you 5-6 times back. So I think hopefully we're going to see that style, but I really do feel this has the potential to be a great fight.
Ryan Garcia has already dismissed the hype around Boots, openly claiming he could knock him out regardless of reputation or promotion talk. The debate now is whether Garcia would actually step up and back his words, especially after Ennis potentially makes a statement win against Zayas. So if Boots wins big, does Garcia double down on the call out, or does this become just another viral boxing argument that never turns into a real fight?
Will I fight Boots? Bro, I will knock out Boots. Boots is, bro, the thing I don't like about Boots, well, Boots is cool person. Don't know much about him, but I like Boots as a person. I don't like his promoter, Eddie Hearn, who's saying, can't believe he's fighting Boots. Like Boots is some unbeatable fighter. Like, bro, we're fighters. We don't give a who you are.
As Xander training very hard, trainer reveals Xander Zayas is still in the mid-stage of camp, but the conditioning is only going to sharpen as fight night approaches. In training, they're preparing for everything, whether Boots brings pressure or tries to box and move around the ring. They believe Jaron Ennis hasn't yet faced someone with Zayas' kind of movement and ring IQ. With slick footwork, sharp angles, and calm boxing and training, Xander Zayas is being built to be a real problem stylistically in this matchup.
We're kind of mid-stage in camp in terms of its conditioning. It's just going to get better from here. We're planning for everything. We're planning for Boots to put pressure. We're planning for Boots to move around the ring. But I think Boots hasn't really fought anybody like Xander, in terms of movement. Boots has been fortunate enough to have everybody coming towards him all the time. That's not Xander. Xander can box, Xander can use his legs, and the angles may be a problem for him.
Kellerman describes it as one of the most daring decisions in modern boxing, with Zayas risking both his title and reputation against one of the division's most feared and avoided fighters. For Kellerman, this isn't recklessness, but a clear statement of intent, showing that Zayas truly believes he has what it takes to compete at this elite level.
You're right, you gotta give him props. When you have a built-in fan base, in other words, it's not just that you're of a certain ethnic or national group, but you're undefeated. You've been groomed and promoted as maybe the future star that group's fan base will follow. You're risking a lot because you have a built-in economic engine behind you. And when you're a guy who can be put in a position to pick and choose, and you choose Boots, Gabe, what does that say?
Absolutely. This is a fight he definitely didn't have to take, man. He's a 2-division champion right now. And for him to to choose the toughest guy on paper right now, I mean, skill-wise, Boots, it's crazy. You know, it's crazy. He could have went a different route, but he chose his best guy.
Looking at the matchup from a trainer's perspective, Jose Benavidez Sr., father of David Benavidez, sees it as a true 50-50 showdown with no clear favorite. He believes both fighters have been closely followed since the start of their careers and have now earned this big stage. In his opinion, when two determined warriors meet like this, the outcome won't come down to raw talent, but to the small, decisive details in the ring.
That's a great fight. To me, that's a 50-50 fight. You know, these guys are coming with everything. Whoever wins that fight is going to be on top. I've been watching both since they started their career, and they've been doing good. That's why they're facing each other, and it's a good fight. Different styles, and let's see who work harder and who's more disciplined and who wants to go to the next level.
On the other side of the debate, boxing legends are just as excited about this matchup. They are not dismissing Zayas at all. Instead, they believe there is a strong and realistic chance he could surprise everyone. Many see him as a serious threat capable of pulling off something special on fight night. The confidence in his ability is growing among experienced voices in the sport.
Boots is this future superstar. He beat this guy and that guy and that guy. Meantime, when you actually make the fights, and it's like, oh, he's really gonna fight that guy? Is he gonna win? Where are you with this?
Where I am, Max, is that I want to give a lot of credit to Xander Zayas. You know, Xander Zayas, young guy, he wanted this fight. He called for the fight, and he made it happen quick after the Virgil Ortiz-Boots fight fell apart. So fair play to Xander. He has a lot of confidence in himself, even though he's going to be the underdog. And you're right, Boots hasn't proven anything yet. Not his fault, but he hasn't fought anyone. He looks special. Now we're going to find out, is he special?
Adding another major voice to the Boots versus Xander breakdown, Keith Thurman focuses on what he sees as the full, complete package when making his assessment. He points to the natural pedigree, the relentless work rate, and a deep commitment to the training camp process that very few fighters at any level are able to match. For Thurman, it's not just one strength standing out, but the combination of all these elements working together. In his view, when you bring those three factors into one fighter's game, the outcome becomes very difficult to argue against and the advantage starts to look very clear.
Boots' opposition in his last fight doesn't prepare him fully, for this fight, but Boots is a former champion. And Boots is young and on the grind and has been waiting to make a big statement. And this is that, there's always windows and opportunities. I remember when Paulie Malignaggi became world champion at 147, and I was like, who did he just fight? And then boom, he was overseas and he was able to get a title, So not only does he get to fight a champion, but he gets to fight a unified champion. You take out one and you walk away with two.
Thurman also suggests that the young Puerto Rican may still be benefiting from hype and momentum that hasn't been fully tested at this level yet. He questions whether that excitement will hold up once the pressure and intensity reach their peak. If the fight goes into the deeper rounds and conditioning starts to play a major role, Thurman believes Boots has the skill set, physical tools, and engine to turn it into a long, grueling, and potentially painful night for Zayas.
Because I'm in the division now, and I think he's a little premature. I think he's there to get got, but that's why we got these things called opinions, and it's up to the fighters to show us, what they're really capable of, and that's what Fight Night's all about. So it'll be a good one.
Do you feel like that fight goes the distance?
Depends. If anyone's stopping anybody, it's Boots. You know what I'm saying? Because once he gets you, he smells the blood in the water.
Adding to another layer, Greg Hackett weighs in and becomes genuinely excited when discussing Zayas in this matchup. He emphasizes that this is a completely new kind of challenge for Boots, as he will be facing an opponent with Xander's level of size, skill, and technical ability for the first time. According to Hackett, it's not just another fight on the card, but a fresh and difficult stylistic challenge that could test Boots in ways he hasn't experienced before. He sees this as one of the most interesting and uncertain tests of Boots' career to date.
I think he's willing to go there because what he went through with Abbas was a good tangle up. You know what I mean? That was a good little mix. but this time you won't be fighting a boss. But at the same time, Boots, this is be his first joint where he got somebody that big. Like, you know what I mean? Xander is a big guy with skills. So it's gonna be interesting. I like the fight. I'm mad at Virgil Ortiz and his team, but I feel better because of Xander, what he did. So I got a world of respect for Xander right now. Utmost respect.
Adding to the increasing respect for Zayas as fight night approaches, Bernie Thaw Boxer highlights the noticeable physical transformation the young Puerto Rican has made since moving up to 154 pounds. He describes him as a more solid, powerful, and physically commanding fighter than many people tend to realize at first glance. What makes Bernie's analysis stand out is his deeper look at the stylistic matchup, where he argues that Zayas actually matches up with Ennis in a much more competitive way than casual observers might expect. In his view, the fight dynamics are closer and more intriguing because Zayas brings a blend of size, composure, and technical ability that could make the contest far more balanced than it initially appeared.
I don't know, Xander can box. Xander is a big guy. He didn't field out for the weight, you know what I'm saying? He's put on a little bit more muscle, you know? I don't know. I think he
called his own?
It's not, yeah, definitely. And I think I don't want to overrate Karen, and I don't want to underrate him, you know. But I think if a guy like Karen can actually do even better, he did better even in the second fight, you know. So I don't, you know, I think Xander probably right there with him. So I will give it a good chance. I don't know, but I think it's an interesting fight because, I think Boots is the heir apparent. Everybody is waiting on Boots to outshine the pack, you know. So, you know, fighting for those two titles, you know, against a guy like Xander, he still got a lot to prove, but that goes right in the right direction. You know, that opens him up for the Kelly fight, which he's with over there with those guys. He can do that.
A large part of the discussion focuses on the massive June 27th clash between Xander Zayas and Jaron Boots Ennis, with strong respect being shown for Zayas across the board. Many see his decision to face the division's most feared puncher at this point in his career as a clear sign of ambition, confidence, and competitive hunger. The speakers openly acknowledge their admiration for the way the young champion is willing to step directly into one of the toughest challenges in boxing without hesitation, embracing a truly dangerous assignment head on.
It's gonna come down to IQ, it's gonna come down to conditioning, it's gonna come down to pressure, it's gonna come down to what Xander is willing to go through. Xander is the champion, right? Mm-hmm. Boots is hungry because he want that respect and he want those titles. Xander got to figure out how far he willing to go.
As Xander Zayas versus Jaron Boots Ennis has all the makings of a modern boxing classic. Two undefeated fighters, world titles on the line, and a real chance to prove who belongs at the top of the 154-pound division. Zayas relies on his youth, size, and ring IQ, while Ennis brings elite skill and explosive power as he looks to become a champion in a second weight class. So who do you think wins when it's all over? Can Boots continue his rise toward pound-for-pound greatness, or will Zayas score the biggest win of his career and silence the doubters? Drop your predictions in the comments and let us know if it ends by knockout or decision. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more boxing news, fight updates, and interviews.